What if I told you that one controversial banner helped trigger a FIFA punishment worth more than £235,000, and that was only part of Argentina's World Cup disciplinary nightmare? We're talking about Argentina, the Falklands, and one of the most extraordinary fallout stories in World Cup history. You've probably seen the headlines. Argentina fined, players banned, chaos on and off the pitch. But what really happened behind the scenes? And why is this story so much bigger than just a football match? To understand the fury, the pride, and the punishment, we need to go back decades. The Falklands War. For 74 days, Argentina and Britain fought over a remote archipelago in the South Atlantic. Nearly 1,000 lives were lost. For Argentina, the islands, Las Malvinas, are part of their national territory. For Britain, they're a sovereign overseas territory. The war ended with a British victory, but the wound never healed. In Argentina, the islands remain a deeply emotional, almost sacred, national cause. Fast forward to the World Cup semifinal. Argentina versus England. In Atlanta, Georgia, this is a fixture dripping with history. The Hand of God in 1986, the penalty shootout in 1998, Beckham's red card. One of the fiercest rivalries in international football. But on this night, the ghosts of 1982 loomed larger than ever. British tabloids ran stories about Argentine aggression. Argentine media framed the match as a chance for symbolic revenge. The tension was palpable across two continents. Argentina wins. 2-1, the players are ecstatic. They've beaten their historic rivals on the biggest stage. The celebrations begin. But then, something happens. As the players celebrate in front of their fans, a banner appears. Handwritten, unfurled on the pitch. It reads in Spanish, Las Malvinas son Argentinas. The Falklands are Argentine. The banner is held up by several players, including former Tottenham captain Christian Romero. It stays on the pitch for several minutes. This wasn't spontaneous. It was coordinated, deliberate. Now, FIFA rules are crystal clear. Article 13 of the Disciplinary Code. Using a sports event for demonstrations of a non-sporting nature is a breach. Political messaging at games? Banned. Full stop. And this is about as political as it gets. UK politicians immediately condemned it. Ed Davey called for the players involved to be suspended. British veterans groups expressed outrage. But in Argentina, veterans reportedly celebrated. Many Argentines saw it as a powerful statement of national pride. For them, this wasn't a provocation. It was a declaration, a moment of vindication on the very pitch where they had just defeated their old adversary. But the drama didn't end there. Fast forward to the World Cup final. Argentina versus Spain. New York, New Jersey Stadium. The biggest game in football. An estimated 1.5 billion people watching. Spain wins. 1-0. A tight, tense match decided by a single goal. And then, chaos. As the Spanish players rush onto the pitch to celebrate, Argentina's players lose it. Ugly scenes erupt. This isn't handshakes. This is raw fury. Leandro Paredes grabs Spain's Eric Garcia by the throat. Then he pushes Gavi to the ground. Nahuel Molina tries to knock over Rodri. Roberto Ayala, Argentina's assistant coach, tries to punch Dani Olmo in the face. The final whistle had barely blown, and the world's biggest sporting event descended into a brawl. It took several minutes for security to restore order. Paredes is shown a red card. The damage is done. FIFA launches an investigation. The football world waits. Now, let's fast forward to today, August 21st, 2026. FIFA releases its verdict, and it is brutal. Let's start with the players. Leandro Paredes, a 10-match international ban, a fine of $90,000, about £66,000. Nahuel Molina, a hitmotsbon, $90 fine. Thiago Almada, a egmotsbon, $30 fine. Roberto Ayala, a harobotsbon, $30 fine. Even Spain's Gavi gets a one-match ban and a $30,000 fine for his role in the confrontation. Even the winners weren't spared. That's 4 players and a coach from Argentina, suspended for a total of 21 matches. But the financial penalties? That's where it gets really interesting. The Argentine Football Association, the AFA, was hit with a total fine of $321,000, over £235,000. But here's the crucial part. The $321,000 wasn't simply a fine for the banner. FIFA's punishment combined the banner incident with a series of other violations throughout Argentina's entire World Cup campaign. This is the distinction most headlines miss. Let's break down exactly what the AFA was punished for. FIFA applied 4 different articles of its disciplinary code. First, Article 13, the political demonstration, the Falklands banner itself. Second, Article 14, team misconduct, the chaotic brawl in the final, the mass confrontation, the attempted punches. Third, Article 15, discrimination. And this is where the story gets darker. Throughout the tournament, Argentina supporters were found guilty of discriminatory chants and gestures at matches against Cape Verde, Egypt, Switzerland, England, and Spain. Racist abuse, homophobic slurs. These weren't isolated incidents. They were a recurring blight. And fourth, Article 17, security and order violations. Fans throwing objects onto the pitch during matches against Switzerland and England, causing kickoff delays. So FIFA bundled all of these together. It wasn't just one banner. It was a pattern of behavior spanning multiple matches, involving players, coaches, and tens of thousands of fans. The AFA is also ordered to play its next 2 home matches with stadium capacity limited to just 50%. One of those matches has a suspended sanction, meaning it could still be enforced. And here's the detail that really matters. $100,000 of that $321,000 fine must be invested in a plan to combat discrimination. Another $100,000 is suspended. So the immediate cash hit is around $121,000, but the full $321,000 looms. The Argentine Football Association is furious. They said they would reserve the right to appeal to the FIFA Appeal Committee and ultimately to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. They called the sanctions disproportionate. They argued the banner was an expression of national sentiment, not a political provocation. But here's what makes this story truly fascinating. Remember that banner? This isn't the first time Argentina has done this. In 2014, before a friendly against Slovenia, Argentina players held up a similar banner. FIFA fined them just £20,000. 12 years later, the combined sanctions are more than 10 times that amount. FIFA is signaling zero tolerance. And yet, the Argentine public doesn't seem to care about the fine. Many are celebrating. The AFA even announced that July 15th, the date of that semi-final win over England, will now be commemorated as National Football Teams Day. They're institutionalizing the date. For Argentina, the banner wasn't a mistake. It was a statement, and they're doubling down. But FIFA sees it differently. The message is clear: football and politics don't mix. Or do they? Argentina reportedly earned $34 million in World Cup prize money. Against that figure, the $321,000 sanction is less than 1% of their prize money. Some might argue it's a slap on the wrist. Others see it as a warning shot. But for the players, the bans are the real punishment. At 32, a 10-match international suspension could have a major impact on the next chapter of Paredes' international career. Molina, 7 matches out, all for a few seconds of chaos. A banner that stayed on the pitch for a few minutes. But here's the thing about football. It's never just about football. The Falklands, Las Malvinas, have been at the center of a long-running sovereignty dispute between Argentina and Britain, one that erupted into war in 1982. Over 600 Argentine soldiers died. The territorial claim is written into Argentina's constitution. It's taught in schools. It's a unifying cause. So when those players unfurled that banner, they weren't acting in a vacuum. They were channeling decades of national sentiment. On a night when they beat England, the symbolism was potent beyond measure. And now, it's also a $321,000 reminder that FIFA doesn't tolerate politics on its pitch. But the questions remain. Was the punishment fair? Should players be held accountable for expressing national sentiment? And where do we draw the line between passion and politics? Because let's be honest, football has always been political. From Maradona's Hand of God to the 1978 World Cup held under Argentina's dictatorship, the beautiful game has never been purely about sport. Nationalism, identity, history, they all bleed onto the pitch. This case also raises questions about consistency. Palestine flags have been waved without heavy sanctions. FIFA picks its battles, and Argentina appears to have been made an example. So now they pay the price. Paredes banned for 10, Molina banned for 7. The AFA $321,000 lighter. Argentina's next 2 home matches half empty, all stemming, in part, from a banner. A few words on a piece of fabric, but those words carry the weight of history. Las Malvinas son Argentinas. The Falklands are Argentine. For some, it's a political provocation. For others, a simple statement of truth. Either way, it just contributed to a sanction worth over £235,000. And the debate is far from over. Argentina has already said they will appeal. They might take it all the way to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. If they win, it sets a precedent. If they lose, it's a definitive statement from FIFA. There's also a broader question about fan conduct. Argentina's supporters have been flagged for discriminatory chants. Is the federation responsible for controlling tens of thousands of fans across the world? FIFA says yes. The AFA says it's impossible. That tension will play out in future tournaments. And honestly, that's what makes this story so compelling. Because it's about what happens when sport collides with politics on the world's biggest stage. Sovereignty, nationalism, history, and the limits of institutional control. So what do you think? Was FIFA right to come down so hard? Or should Argentina be allowed to express its national identity on the football pitch? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate will run and run. And as for Argentina, they'll be back. They always come back. But next time, they might think twice before unfurling that banner. Or maybe they won't. Because for Argentina, some things are bigger than football. Some wounds are too deep. Some claims are too fundamental to ever be left in the dressing room. And that is exactly why this story resonates far beyond the penalty box. A nation that refuses to forget. A governing body that refuses to compromise. And a sport that refuses to be just a sport. Thanks for watching.